Welcome to this week's challenge where we'll be working in the kitchen with baking. So I think Corbin and I might be at a slight disadvantage at this one. So we'll see how this all pans out. So Carrie, how are we going to figure out who we're
playing for?
Playing for, yes. There we go.
So we have 21 kids so far from FMC who are entered into the drawing and are participating with us online through Facebook or YouTube. So we've written the 21 names on a piece of parchment paper and put a cookie on top. And then we spun the parchment paper a few times so nobody knows which names are where. So each of us is going to eat a cookie, and that's who we'll be playing for. So Corbin, start us off. Corbin chose TJ. Julie? Julie has Chloe. Josh has Anna. Oh, I'm going to choose the biggest cookie. And, oh, I chose Corbin. Corbin, I'm playing for you. So now we're going to take a minute and we're going to enjoy our no-bake cookies. So for our baking competition in the Brueck family today, we are going to make a recipe out of my favorite French cookbook, Patisserie gluten-free. So we are making madeleines, and a madeleine is a cookie cake muffin. Okay, so Julie, you're going to start by taking the flour, and you have 150 grams of flour. And then we are going to take 4 grams of baking powder and 1 gram of salt. And Corbin, you are going to start with 150 grams of sugar.
That is a lot. Sugar.
And then you have 20 ounces of honey.
That's honey.
That's honey. Sorry, I mean 20 grams of honey. And now, Corbin, you have 165 grams or 3 eggs.
Push, push, push.
Put it on medium.
Is that 1 or 2?
About 4. We're going to do that for 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Okay, Corbin, can you put the funnel onto the mixer? And kick it down below. And Julie, you're going to add the flour mixture into the egg mixture. Julie, can you scrape down the sides of the bowl? So Corbin, pour a little bit of butter into it, just a little. Corbin, you have 140 grams of melted butter. So normally you would add your flavoring at the beginning of the madeleine recipe along with your sugar. But because we're part of a competition, we're taking the same dough and we're dividing it in 4 parts. And each of us are going to make our own flavor combinations for part of this combination, for part of this challenge. So our dough is getting divided into 4 different bowls now, and we are going to pick out what flavor combinations we want to add into our madeleines. I am going to make a rosemary lemon madeleine.
Anna, we are going to be crazy and just put chocolate into ours and add a flavoring of maple and see what we come up with there.
I'm going to make a chocolate one with pieces of white chocolate.
I've got a Nutella one with a little bit of this stuff. See.
All right, let's begin. So typically when you're making a Madeleine, according to the cookbook and the recipe that we've made before, you put your lemon zest or your orange zest or your grapefruit or your lime zest, whatever you zest, in with your sugar and you mix it up to get the flavor out of the zest. How's it going over there, Julie?
That doesn't really look like it's
Julie might need some more liquid. Since there really was no liquid in the recipe, how's it going for you, Corbin?
Bad.
It looks awesome. Your dough looks like the right
I've only flipped it once.
Oh. Well, this is my dough. Okay, so our Madeleine dough has to go in the refrigerator for about 12 hours, which since we want to film this whole video in one day, we're going to fast forward to a couple hours and see how it goes. So each of us are going to take our dough and put it into a Ziploc bag and refrigerate it for a while.
It does not look good. It's a mutated Tootsie Roll.
Julie, it's not going well for her. Yep. Ooh. Ooh.
Alright, we good? Good. Alright, our oven temp is at 350.
Let's see how it goes.
For a minimum of 10 minutes. Alright, so our Madeleine baking competition is complete. We all have Madeleines I think we're proud of. I'm pretty proud of all of our Madeleines. So one of the things that they're going to be judged on for points is best flavor. So we are all going to taste test one of each other's Madeleines.
So before we do, I want to tell people about how you made yours. So Corbin, we'll be starting with yours. What did you put into your...
Nutella and vanilla.
Nutella vanilla.
I did cocoa powder and white chocolate chips and then a caramel glaze.
I can't remember what we put into ours. I know there was a maple flavor and...
It's marshmallows.
Oh, we mixed in chocolate, that's right. And yes, and then before we put them in the oven, I put some marshmallows in the middle to try to get to melt inside there. And then I totally screwed up on our glaze. So at the end to put a glaze on, I 3 times said, oops, as I was dumping in the ingredients. So I first did it with the vanilla flavoring. So we did butter with ground up sugary stuff.
Confectioner's sugar.
Yes, that stuff. And we put the vanilla in there. And oops, I dumped way more than I wanted to in there. And then I did the same thing with milk, trying to add the milk to it. Oh no, I poured way too much milk. So then we pulled a section of it out and tried to add a little more powdered sugar to it to try to get it solid up. And then guess what I did? I dumped a whole bunch of powdered sugar in and went, oops. So I think though with all the oops, we finally got it to where we had somewhat of a consistency of a glaze. So that is what our Madeleine, right?
Madeleine,
is
yeah.
composed of.
So I had this lovely green plant that I've been growing all winter and I wanted to use that. So I did a lemon rosemary Madeleine and we had leftover blueberry sauce from pancakes the other day and it looked too pretty to not put with the yellow Madeleine. So I did that and I also made a glaze of confectioner's sugar and lemon zest in a little water to thin it down.
Alright, Julie, you want to cut up each one into 4 pieces?
Oh, that's what it's called, Nutella Vanilla. And Julie, while you're cutting, what is your name for your Madeleine recipe?
It was backwards cow. Yeah.
Backwards cow.
Because it's blackish, with white chocolate chips. So the white's like the spots instead of black spots. It's white spots.
And you.
So Anna, if you have a better suggestion than me, feel free to put it in the comments. I am not very creative when it comes to a name, so I'm just going to say chocolate maple.
All right, and mine just reminded me of summertime with lemons and fresh herbs and blueberries. I can't wait to pick blueberries. So mine is summer sunshine. That is the recipe. So traditionally, you could eat these with tea or hot chocolate, or my favorite, coffee. You might need that to down some of these chocolate ones, I'm not sure. But I'm thinking it's possible. Corbin, you're up. That is good.
Not too bad.
It's like a really mild brownie.
I don't like it.
Oh, I think it's delicious. So it doesn't compare to the macaroons we had last week. Nope, okay. Not a Madeleine fan.
No.
Alright, should we do yours? Backwards
I
cow?
don't know if you want to do my
Her
first.
face
It's pretty
says take
strong.
a small bite.
Yeah, don't shove the whole thing in your mouth at once.
Okay, here we go, backward. I'm a fan.
Oh, this one's better than the one I tasted. The first one was burnt.
So this is like a dark chocolate brownie. So the first one was a very mild brownie.
Nope.
This one is
I don't
a
like
dark chocolate brownie.
I don't like
I
dark
can't really
chocolate.
taste the white chocolate chunks, which I'm surprised, which is good. I don't really like white chocolate.
Oh my god, a little hit of maple or.
Ugh.
Oh, this one was a lot better than what I ate before.
I'm a fan.
Alright, so I wasn't like the kids. I haven't tried mine at all, so we might spit it out in disgust, or we might be like, oh, this is the most heavenly thing I've ever tasted before. So.
I'll probably spit it out. That's what I've done with all of them.
Alright.
You're the best, Dad.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll on you with that one, Corbin.
It's kind of sandy.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
happened?
I like a sandy taste to it.
Okay. Is that why,
And it
like,
kind of disintegrates in your mouth.
Mhm.
Like,
You get a little bit of the glaze flavor. A little bit of vanilla flavor there. Maybe a lot of bit of vanilla
does
flavor.
everyone, I'm guessing you guys don't like gingerbread cookies then.
you are right!
Oh, yeah.
There is not a single ingredient in that other than like sugar that would be in a gingerbread cookie. Well, I guess eggs and flour. So there's quite a few ingredients, but yeah.
None of you like gingerbread.
It is. Good job. Molasses. That's what it tastes like.
Yeah, it does. It is strong. Well, sorry, Anna. I don't think we quite got it in the flavor.
I don't know. It's kind of going that direction for me now because it reminds me of grandma's molasses cookies. Because they're kind of like dry your mouth out a little bit too.
All right. So for yours, should we use some of the dipping sauce?
Yeah, you have to have the blueberry on it,
Oh.
even if it's just a little. Tough it out.
All right. I've been working my way up on them.
They're all scared.
Tastes like a cupcake.
It's pretty good.
I would say there's a slight too much of a lemony flavor there, but just a little overpowering on my palate. I'm trying to think of what some of those
Oh, I'm just gonna eat another one.
It just got the sense. I was waiting for that popping sensation, and I just didn't get it. So
Popping sensation.
Oh, it popped.
I don't like it with the blueberry sauce.
What?
I like it
Yeah. So you really should have plated it without the blueberry sauce. It might have been a really good
They
dish.
don't know what they're talking about. This is really good. It's a recipe keeper.
I think I'll faint now.
All right. What was the other thing that we were scored? Oh wait, I guess we gotta pick a winner on this one.
I'm still eating.
Okay, we know what Carrie's choosing. That's kind of biased to pick your own flavor.
Actually, kind of
We
like
need-
it.
we need to do
That
a
means
lesson
if
on
she
humility for
wins,
Carrie.
I win.
I just really
I get
like
the
that
prize.
recipe.
I get the prize.
We're all gone.
All right, so best flavor. Julie, who do you choose?
You choose.
No.
Yeah.
I think I have to go with Mom's.
All right, so Julie chooses mom. Corbin, who do you choose?
Dad,
Yeah.
six up like cookies.
All right.
Savor your 1 point.
Joshua, who do you choose?
Well, I really liked, I gotta remember the people here, Corbin's, but it was Carrie's. That's kind of confusing. A flavor there, but you added that element that just wasn't there for me. Now, I gotta say, I gotta go with the one that Carrie made that's representing Corbin's.
Yay!
And I'm voting for myself, which sounds really bad. Like, that's not my personality.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Because that means I get the toy.
So,
Not yet, you're the one, yeah.
best
Oh, that's true.
name. We never voted for the names. So, Summer Sunshine. What did you call yours?
God, it was a phenomenal name.
No, it
It's just
wasn't.
one that just
It
sticks
was
with
like
me. Mine was-
chocolate maple, wasn't it?
Yes, it was the ingredients.
I
Summer
like Mom's
Sunshine,
the
chocolate
best.
maple.
Backwards cow.
Backwards cow.
I think Mom's.
What's yours? What was your name? Nutella Vanilla.
Yeah, Nutella vanilla.
Alright, well I'm gonna vote for Julie on this one. I thought backwards cow with the inside out black and white theme. That was pretty good, so my vote goes for Julie.
I'm voting for Mom.
Of course you are.
I like that name. I
Summer Sunshine.
Have you voted yet?
As much as I don't want Corbin to win, I think I have to go with Mom's. Okay.
I thought, Carrie, your name was really well done, but then when I looked down and I seen that dark sauce, I'm like, I just don't see sunshine there. I see moonlight. And so maybe if you would have went something with moonlight, I would have went for it. So my vote's gonna have to go for the backwards cow.
Alright, backwards cow. Okay.
do. Now we have the bottom buster. The bottom buster.
The bottom buster.
That's what I call it. It's the mountain on the bottom.
Oh, okay, so traditionally a Madeleine would have 2 humps. So the mold is made so that it's going to have 1 hump no matter what, and then based on cooking temperature, how you make your dough, if it's chilled enough, if there's not too much liquid, if you didn't overfill it, there's a few factors that contribute to whether or not it'll have 2 humps. So we all made 3 Madeleines the first round, just in case we could kind of play around and see if we could make a better second round Madeleine. So we are going to see now if we were able to pull off the 2 hump Madeleine.
Alright. Corbin, you want, is it on the back side? That's how well I knew what I was doing. I don't even know where the hump's supposed to be at. I think it's on the bottom.
It's the
right?
side that's down.
Okay, yes, the side that's down. See, I was
The
actually
side
pretty
that's
close.
down.
Alright, so you want to flip yours, Corbin, so we can see if it's Alice the camel has 1 hump or 2 humps.
I believe he's got an Alice.
Yeah, with 1 hump. Alright, Julie, what's yours look like?
I don't think it has any because my batter was too big.
You got a little hump. He's got a hump. He's got a.
Depends how you look at
There's
it.
like a dip in the middle, so there's kind of 2.
I think there is 2 humps there. Well, now that you smashed it with the knife.
I didn't, I was just measuring. I just wanted to rub in the fact that I don't believe you have 2 humps.
Yeah. I don't think it's really there. I mean, if we got a microscopic view onto it, I bet you we have a crevice in there. Alright, we'll count it as 1.
Alright.
They're out against us on it.
It's kind of messy now, but.
Yup. It's got a hump. He's got a big hump.
Apparently my cookie is a big hump.
Your midnight moonshine, yep, just had 1.
Midnight moonshine.
Midnight.
So, best presentation, now that we've rolled them over, we probably should have done that first.
Oh, yours looked really good, so we wanted to get yours all slimed up first. There's a method to that madness. I'm not sure if we even have to vote on that.
We all know mine's the
I
best.
tried to mimic what Carrie did with slamming my chocolate on there, but it just didn't look the same as what Carrie did. And I didn't have a cool leaf to use, so I was going to run out and grab some grass, but I figured that probably was not going to work anyway. So, yeah, sorry, I tried for a presentation. It just didn't work the same. So my vote's got to go for Carrie's on presentation.
Carries.
I think Julie was quite creative though with the cocoa powder. That is not something I would have thought of. So
I thought she was just messy.
Me too. I just thought you should.
I'm giving my vote to Julie because I did not think of cocoa powder in the same way I did powdered sugar. With
Carrie's learning how to become humble and not just think about herself.
I'm gonna vote for moms on that one.
Woo!
the last opportunity for points.
Double
is
points, triple points, quadruple.
Quadruple points. It's actually quadruple points. You have a chance to catch up here.
You
So
insinuating some of us are behind you?
you're always
points?
behind me.
Don't put it on there yet.
So one of the things that we looked at is how much should a Madeleine weigh? And there would be no opportunity for prejudice here because we're using a scale. And so we went online and we looked, if you purchased a package of Madeleines, you could buy 28 and it would be 28 ounces. So we decided that each Madeleine should weigh.
25 ounces.
Nice math.
So if somebody nails it, you're gonna get all 4 points.
Yeah, so those of you that I threw off, 1 ounce. 1 ounce is what it should weigh.
Corbin, go for it.
0.54 ounces.
Oh, we might be reliant on those white chocolate chips.
Isn't that next?
Yeah, you're next.
We're gonna be closer to the 1 ounce than that.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
Oh, 0.89.
0.85.
Oh.
Minus points for you for not being able to read a scale.
Hey, I'm like looking over 3 people.
I don't know how much.
If mine is slightly over, it's because Julie tainted it with her chocolate.
She's gonna tear it out for you. Better like smear some more of that chocolate
This
on
is
there.
probably the point where putting the marshmallow inside that disintegrates and makes a hollow tube. Probably not a good idea. Oh,
0.56.
I did not want to say that out loud because somebody would condemn me for reading this aloud. Alright. Come on, come on. Oh, disappointing.
oh, I thought you'd have a little more density.
0.72.
Ooh, man, nobody got the bonus points. Just means I took it away. This is one thing that I can actually win.
Baking, baking, boom!
Well, Corbin, you failed but succeeded at the same time. You both lost and won.
Yeah,
Crazy.
because Mommy was, so that means I get the toy.
So, Corbin, if you're watching, you will be getting some kind of a gift in the next few days.
Okay.
We'll leave it at your door.
Ooh.
Alright, for our drawing for the adult, we're going to play Spin the Madeleine. What is it called? Madeleine. Okay, we got it right. Alright, spin the Madeleine to see what who our lucky adult is. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Mark Finn.
Alright, congratulations, Mark. We get you a gift in the mail or it'll be at your doorsteps. Alright, thank you for everybody for tuning in. Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established." It's a proverb that can bring us great comfort but can also make us scratch our head a little bit and say, well, wait a minute. I've committed my plans to God and they're not being established. I am not prospering in what I'm trying to do. We could look at that with the activity that we did today. Julie, Corbin, and I might have been committing our plans to the Lord. And we really wanted to win for the child that we were representing. But we didn't win. Carrie was the one. So does that mean that God didn't establish our plans? Well, no, we know that God is not a God who lies, and He's a God that's going to fulfill His promises. So there must be something that we are missing. And what happens is a lot of times we have expectations. And those expectations get in the way of what God is actually doing in our lives. See, when we have expectations, in a way, we've actually taken away committing our plans to God, because we say, this is the destination, this is what needs to happen in order for this to be a success. But God might be saying, no, there's something else that I'm trying to do here. With our activity that we did as a family, it wasn't about winning, it was about sharing joy and laughter with one another and having fun as a family. And that's how our plans were established. That's how we prospered. Sometimes going through life, we might make an embarrassing mistake in front of other people. We might feel like, oh, that's not prospering. But that really does help us at times become humble. It helps people to see us as human beings who make mistakes. And it gives people an opportunity to see, how do we handle when we make a mistake? Are we willing to own that mistake and say, that was my bad? And in a way, we can actually gain more respect from individuals because we own our mistakes. And so we actually have prospered in those moments. So what is it that you're going through right now that is riling up frustration or anger in your life? If that's happening, remember, you probably haven't committed your plans then to God, because you're letting some kind of an expectation withhold you from having the joy that God desires you to have, or being able to see the bigger picture, maybe what He's doing in your life. Remember, your expectations aren't always what needs to happen to be the prospering or the establishment of your plans. So let's make plans, let's put them into God's hand, and say, whatever happens in this situation, I know that God is in control and He has a purpose for it. I might look foolish, but it might be actually a good reason that I'm looking foolish. Our car might break down on our way to vacation, but maybe there's a great thing that can happen through that. There's going to be memories that are shared there. Maybe we're going to come across an individual that we're going to have a great time of fellowship with through that. But if we let our emotions take over in those moments, we're going to miss it. So let's all go forward from here on out, trying to keep ourselves from becoming frustrated and angered at the situations that are around us, and let's just commit our plans to the Lord.